Hi everybody, happy Monday. Oh my goodness, you guys, I'm so excited to hang out with you. I can't believe we're done with our Wildflower Fields quilt. If you are new to my channel, my name's Bev McCullough of Flamingo Toes, and we have been over the last couple of months, it got to be a longer sew along than we intended it to be because I had to take a couple weeks off. But we are on the last week of our Wildflower Fields quilt, and I have just been having so much fun with you guys. I hope that you've loved sewing up these blocks. I have loved kind of making it again, and today we're going to talk in a little bit about our finishing and doing our borders and that sort of things. I obviously don't have my sewing machine here because I just can't sew an entire quilt together with on a video, but I have some helpful tips for you guys as you go to assemble them, and it's just a really fun quilt to put together. And despite the size of it, it goes together really quickly because the blocks are so big. It doesn't take that many seams to have it put together, so it's going to be a really fun one to put together, and I think you guys will like it. So before we get too far, I want to see who's here, say hi, and then I have some very exciting things to let you guys know. So over on Facebook, Dawn's here. Hey, Dawn. And Allison's here. Anita's here. Yes, first time back in a live for a long time. Yay, Anita. And Wendy's here. Hi, Wendy. Over on YouTube, we have Rhonda and Dolores. Cynthia says, yay, she remembered the time. Yay, Cynthia. Roxy is here. I was just running Roxy and Christine together. But they're both here. Val's here. Yay, so glad you're here. Katarina's here from Germany. Oh my goodness, I hope you feel better soon, Katarina. I know, Rhonda, it's a big machine, right? It's weird not seeing it here. Yeah, we're going to have a few machine-free videos here for a little bit. Leslie, oh, it's nice and warm and sunny in Seattle. It's gorgeous here, you guys. We have beautiful, big, puffy white clouds out the window. I about pulled my plant over on myself. Big puffy clouds outside the window, and I think it's going to be like a little warmish this week, maybe hopefully our last warm week of summer. I'm ready to dip into those 70s. I feel like I can do fall now. I feel good about that. Valerie is here from Katy, Texas. Hey, and oh, Teresa, it's moving into fall for you too. That's awesome. Christine said she was happy for an extra couple of weeks and was able to catch up. So yay, that's awesome. Elizabeth's here from Southern California. Hey, Elizabeth, is it gorgeous there? It's kind of always gorgeous in Southern California, right? I did love, we lived in just north of San Diego for 9 years, and the weather was the best thing about it. It was just always perfect. It was really nice, so. Okay, so I have, this is our last week, and things will be kind of topsy-turvy for me for the next couple of weeks, so we're not going to do a big full quilt sew-along until the end of September, and I have a little, all the info about that is right here. So our next sew-along is called Daisy a Day. It's my brand new Daisy a Day quilt pattern. And we are going to start the sew along for this in end of September. Last Monday of September will be our kickoff. And this is a really, really fun quilt to sew together. It has these big flower blocks. Some of them are solid flowers, some are patchworky flowers, and then scattered throughout the flower blocks are really cute little bee blocks. So there are only 3 blocks that make up this entire quilt. It looks complicated, but it's not. And so I thought this would be a good fall sew-along to do, and it would work well with heading into the holidays. I know that the holidays are going to get really busy, so we wanted to make something doable Oh, I'm so glad. You guys are excited about this one. Okay, so the reason I picked that quilt for our first sew along for Daisy a Day is because of the few number of blocks. They go together really quickly. If you can't keep up with, all the flower blocks in 1 week, or the two, different types of flower blocks in 1 week, it's not a big deal. I'll have videos every week, just like I do. So we'll sew through those 3 blocks and then, have a finishing week of putting it all together. But the cool thing is it's a pretty quick quilt to put together, and then we'll have this really great Daisy Fields quilt to go into the holidays, and you can make it up as a gift for somebody. You can make it up to wrap up and put under the tree for yourself. No judging here, of course. So it's going to be a fun one. And then in January, after the holidays, I haven't picked the start date for that, but we will sew my Country Daisies quilt. So that one is also designed to go with Daisy Fields fabrics, but it's more of a sampler style quilt. So if sampler quilts are your jam, we'll do that one in January, and we'll do the Daisy Fields starting the last week in September. That will be our big woohoo kickoff. And to help you get started, I have released today all of the new quilt patterns that go with Daisy Fields and Dainty Daisy, and all of my Daisy Fields pre-cuts are in the shop. So I haven't gotten my list of shops together that are carrying Daisy Fields. I know Fat Quarter Shop is, Fort Worth Fabric Shop is, Missouri Star is. Some of the shops I've seen are kitting up both those quilts, or one or the other of those quilts. So my job tomorrow is to get that whole list put together for you guys so that you have a place to access if you want to do the quilt kits. It does make it easy, especially when, it comes with the backing and the borders and everything like that. If you're just wanting to assemble your own quilt kit, you've got your backing or border background fabric or whatever you want to do. I do have pre-cuts in the shop today. I have Fat Quarter bundles, 5-inch stackers, 10-inch stackers, and the 2.5-inch strip roly-polies, all of Daisy Fields in the shop today. So if you've been waiting on that, happy shopping to you. So I'm super excited about this collection. I don't have my Dainty Daisy fabrics in the shop yet because those don't come in pre-cut. So I'm going to have to cut Fat Quarter bundles, which I'm happy to do, but it does take a little bit of time. So I'm going to get those cut, and I'll get them in the shop this week, but it's going to take me a few extra days to get those cut. And we'll see how many I can get in the shop and how often I do that. It takes a long time to cut a custom Fat Quarter bundle. Even though there's only 12 prints, you'd be surprised. It's going to take a little bit of time. I need one of those. I don't know if you've seen them. I know Simply Love Fabrics has done a video on, they have an electric rotary cutter, and it just zips through the, multi layers of fabric. Yeah, I don't have one of those. So I'm going to be doing it the slow, old-fashioned, regular rotary cutter way. So, but I know Dainty Daisy, which is my basic, is hitting stores now as well. So it's a busy month around here. So if you're looking for that, you can check your favorite fabric shop and see if they've gotten it in stock. So in that exciting news, Wednesday night, I know I said last week that I was going to do this, and I just will confess to you guys, I clean forgot. It's been a busy time around here. So Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Central Time, I will be doing a video revealing Daisy Fields and Dainty Daisy. We're gonna, I'll bring over the close-up camera, and you'll get a peek at all the fabrics, all the prints in both collections, and we're just gonna have a blast talking about fabric and how fun these new collections are. So join me on both channels, Facebook and YouTube, for that Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Central Time. So that will happen, I promise. Oh, you guys are excited about both Daisy Day and Dainty Fields. Yay! Oh my goodness. So over on YouTube, LALR929, Lori, sorry I didn't read ahead. Lori, it just received her 10-inch stackers of Christmas Adventure in Enchanted Meadow. Yay! That's so exciting. Rhonda says, you've been looking for the Dainty Daisy fabric. Can't wait to add that to her stash. Oh, you're the best, Rhonda. Thank you so much. I know Fat Quarter Shop has it in stock, so you can check for it there. I believe Allison got a big bundle of it. So I'm almost positive that it is there. Ramona's here. Oh, thank you so much, Ramona. She's excited about the new fabrics. Rhonda says Country Daisies is a big quilt. It is big. It's 81 by 81. And this one, Daisy a Day, is fairly large too. It's like 79 by, I don't remember the amount, it's 93 or something like that. I went big for these quilts. So you can snuggle with a friend, right? Everybody loves to do that. Okay, so before we talk about all the things, yay, Rosemary, I'm so glad you're here too. Let's do giveaways. We're going to do those early this week. So every week in my videos, I have a giveaway, and we'll do a special giveaway. Usually if I have a short video, like that's not part of a series, like Wednesday night, I'll have a giveaway, and that will be only for those watching live. So I'll pick the winner from those of you that watch live on Wednesday night and comment. So be watching for that. That will be really fun. But every week I have a giveaway. It's really easy to enter. All you have to do is leave a comment. That counts as your entry, and you can do that whether you're watching live or later in the week, and Facebook or YouTube, any of that, it doesn't matter. So last week we had a really fun prize. This is Riley Blake's. I'm not going to take this label off because you guys saw me struggling last week to get it on. But this is a really cute little kit of it's a pillow project from Riley Blake's Pillow of the Month Club that was from a couple years ago, and it's perfect for back to school and fall. It's designed by Lori Holt, and it's this little sweet apple pillow. And it comes with all the fabrics that are in there to make it. It comes with the backing fabric, the binding fabric, and in the instructions. So all you have to do is get a pillow form. So it has the fabric for the pillow, the backing, the top. It comes with everything. You just need a pillow form. How great is that? So it's a 20 by 20 inch kit. So you can make up this cute pillow. I love the binding on that. I don't know if you all can see in the picture, but it's a stripe binding. So it's really, really cute. So the winner of this from last week she was watching over on YouTube. It's Mary Kubicek. Yay, Mary. Thanks so much for tuning in. I'm so glad that you like the videos. So Mary, if you'll send me an email, bev@flamingotoes.com, with your mailing address, I'll get that out in the mail to you this week. So you guys know I like to do a big giveaway for our final giveaway of a sew-along. And since we have a big sew-along starting at the end of next month, I thought you might like the Daisy a Day quilt pattern. So this is the quilt pattern that we're going to start in September, and I was right, it's 79 by 93. It's a big one. You don't have to make the whole thing if you don't want to. You know, maybe if that's a lot, you could just shorten it by a couple rows or something like that. That would work, right? And then I have for you, look at this. The very first, I just snagged for you guys the big, big bundle of Daisy Fields. There are a bunch of fabrics in this collection, and they're a really fun assortment of colors. This is a little bit of a variance for me. Normally I do have pink in my collections because you guys know I love pink, but we skipped it this time because it just seemed to really flow with the blues and greens and yellows and whites. So I'm going to hold that up so you can see those colors a little bit better. So we've got navy and really pretty shades of like honey and butterscotch. There's aqua, and then there's some really good greens and teals in there. So that is our prize, and I will announce the winner next week. And I might have to just notify the winner. I don't believe we're going to have a video next Monday, and I hate to do that to you guys, but I have Garden of Quilts coming up in about 3 weeks, and I have a lot to do before then. So it's going to be busy around here. And speaking of Garden of Quilts, if you have not checked it out yet, I would love, love, love to see you there. It's held in Utah. We'll be there the middle week of September, and I am teaching 3 classes. So I'm teaching my Garden Terrace quilt, which is one of the quilts that I just released with Daisy Fields. I'm teaching a mini quilt from my new book, Make It Mini, and it's called Love to Quilts. And I'm also teaching with Christopher Thompson and Amanda Niederhauser a Need a Little Christmas runner. We're going to have a Christmas table runner party. It's going to be so fun, you guys. And you get 3 different picture blocks that go with the runner. You can mix and match how you use the different blocks in the runner, and there's kits for that and everything. It's going to be really fun. In addition to that class with Christopher and Amanda, we are also hosting on the first night of Garden of Quilts, the Wednesday night, a icebreaker dinner that is a game show called Let's Make a Quilt, and it is going to be amazing, you guys. So with your fee to get in, you get a buffet dinner, and then you get to participate in the game show, and we're going to draw contestants from the audience, and we're going to play all sorts of crazy games. It is going to be amazing, and everybody will walk away with a little something. It's going to be really, really fun, and we're just super excited. We've had a lot of planning going into this, and it's just going to be a really great evening and a really fun way to meet some other quilters, because we're going to be at these tables and we're all going to play games together. And what's better than like hanging out with quilty friends that get you, right? Like, I don't know about you, but I don't have a lot of like in-person friends. I have a lot of friends that are quilters online, and of course all of my Riley Blake designers and blogger friends that get my like love for quilting, but I don't have a lot of like local quilting friends. And it's really fun to just be with other people that get you, that get your love for fabric and get your love for creating and things like that. So I'm really excited about that. It's going to be fun. You can check it out in the link in today's video description. You can check out all the info on Garden of Quilts and how to get tickets and how to come and all the different classes you can take. There are some seriously amazing classes. So it's going to be great. All right. Let's see. Oh, Wendy said she's hoping to go next year. Oh my goodness. And Leslie, I'm so glad you love the pattern and fabric. Thank you. Yeah, you guys are excited about the prize. I'm so glad. Rebecca, you're excited about Daisy a Day too? I am really too. Yay, dinner and a show, Rhonda says. Exactly. Okay, so obviously I don't have the machine, but let's talk a little bit about finishing our Wildflower Fields quilt. So this quilt is made up of those really big blocks, like the big corner blocks, which let me shimmy over here. Like this one is 24 by 24 finished, and all of the other ones that are the rest of the blocks in the quilt are 12 inch by 12 inch. So the quilt itself goes together really well. Make sure you're looking at the layout image. Double check how you do your laying out of your blocks. You know, I really recommend laying them out first and then picking them up as you sew, because then you're kind of almost double checking yourself. You're laying them out, you look against the pattern and make sure you've got it laid out correctly, and then you're assembling and you're just pulling from that line to assemble. So that takes care of some of that, like, oh, I flipped my block and that sort of thing. So I highly recommend that. So once you have your top assembled, I always recommend measuring your top and then cutting your borders. I know sometimes it's easy to just be like, I want to cut out everything at once and do it all at once, but it's very easy when you're dealing with so much piecing as we are for your measurements to be slightly off of mine. That doesn't mean that you did anything wrong. I mean, unless they're like 12 inches off or something like that, and then you might have forgotten a block. But if they're a little bit off, that just means that maybe your seam allowance is the tiniest bit different than mine or something like that, and that's okay. You're not making my exact quilt, you're making your own, so it doesn't really matter if your measurements don't line up exactly with mine. It matters more that you measure your top and then cut your borders to match. So I recommend measuring your top at each step. So once you have your center of your top with all your blocks assembled, then go ahead and measure your width and length and cut that inner border to match. There's a small inner border that you're going to sew on first. And when you're measuring, don't lay out your quilt top and measure the edge. So where it's all pieced together, don't do that, because it's very easy to, as you're laying it flat, stretch it out just a little bit. And if you stretch it out, then you have a chance of having your border be cut just a little bit too long, and that sometimes gives your quilt that not squared look, you know, where your top and sides kind of do like a weird envelope sort of thing. And we've all done it. Or you get like a ripply thing in your borders going, and you don't want that either. So what I recommend you doing is, if you're measuring the length of your quilt, you fold your quilt in half and measure down the center. Or you can use a measuring tape, whatever works for your particular like craft room. I know not everybody has a big cutting table, and so some of you are measuring on the floor, some of you are measuring, you know, in pieces on smaller tape cutting mats. So just use the middle of your quilt as a guide instead of the edge of your quilt for your length and your width measurements, because that's going to give you a much more accurate measurement. Those seams are less likely to stretch if you're measuring from the center, if that makes sense. If that's confusing, please let me know. So once you have your inner border on, then you're going to go ahead and piece together the corners of your quilt. And you've got all the skills to do that, because all they are half square triangles. So you're going to assemble your half square triangles into those little squares to give that fun like arrow effect to the borders. So you'll sew on your side large borders, then you'll sew those pieced sections onto the top and bottom borders, and then sew those on. So just check your measurements against the quilt again at that level before you do any big cutting of your big borders, and it should assemble really well and easily for you. If you guys ever have any problems, you know you can email me, bev@flamingotoes.com, anytime about anything, and I will do my very best to get back to you. I might have missed a couple emails over the last month, and I'm hoping I haven't. If I ever miss an email and I don't answer you, please don't think that I don't want to answer you. Sometimes it just gets crazy, so email me again. That happens pretty rarely though, so hopefully I haven't missed you. So, does anybody have any questions about assembling the borders or anything else about assembly? I would love to see your quilts when you are all done. Wow, this is a really fast video. Let's see. Oh, hey, Marcia. I'm so glad you love the Daisy a Day pattern. Yay. That's awesome. Rhonda says her measurements are always smaller than the pattern she's using. That's okay, Rhonda. As long as everything is the same smallness, as long as you're, making your quilt to your blocks, that's all that matters. So it doesn't matter if your measurements are a little bit off. That's totally fine. Marcia says, very good advice. I take several measurements. Taking just middle of the quilt will make it so much easier. Exactly. If you're measuring the ends, it's often that your borders are a little bit too long, and then you're trying to kind of smash them into the other, and you get that sort of ripply sort of look in your borders, which you don't want. Or your quilt isn't square. And I don't fuss too much about having squared quilts. I mean, I don't like measure my quilt and make sure that it is squared up. But I also want it to look square when it's hanging. I don't want the corners of my quilts to be, lower than the centers or wider than the centers or anything like that. So that is my tip. Those are my tips for assembly. Oh my goodness, you guys, it's been really fun. I've seen several versions of the quilt in Enchanted Meadow, but I've seen some of you sewing up with other fabrics too, and I love that. So make sure that you guys know, anytime I'm doing a sew along, I of course love it if you sew with the fabrics that I'm suggesting, but that doesn't mean that you have to. I absolutely would love for you to sew along regardless of what fabrics you're using. I totally get, you might have different tastes than I do, and that's okay. You might have different, a budget where you're just having to use your stash, and that's totally okay too. I just want you to sew along with us. I don't really, it doesn't matter to me what fabric you're using. But if you would like to use Daisy Fields for our next sew along, I will have that list of shops started for you tomorrow on the blog, and I'll post it in my Facebook group and online so that you guys can find it, and that way it's easy for you to access. And I'll keep updating it. I know it's just now arriving in stores, so the list might not be super long right now. But as I find more shops, I will add them to it. And if you have a favorite shop, like Rhonda did this weekend, which was great, she had an email from a shop and they had Daisy Fields, so she forwarded it to me, and that was awesome. Thank you for doing that, Rhonda. So if you have a favorite shop that's carrying it and they're not on my quilt list of shops carrying the fabrics, please email me about it because I would love to add them. You guys know I'm all about supporting the shops that carry my fabrics, so I love that. Hey Sharon, no need to be sorry. Okay, so Rhonda asked what backing and binding did I use. So, you know, I think on my backing I just have, you know, I don't even know. Let's go look. Okay, so my backing, oh, okay, so can you guys see? For the backing, I used the little bouquets print that has these small circles on it that I used for my border. So that is the backing of the quilt. And for the binding, I used the red houndstooth print. So those are what I used. It definitely, you can use whatever you'd like. With the pink border, I think you could use any one of the houndstooth prints and it would look great with it. The blue one would look really good too, especially if you used a blue background because it would really pull out the blues in the quilt. And for the backing, a lot of times I also like to use a main fabric. So if you have a lot of the main, or if you want to pick up the main from Daisy Fields, or Enchanted Meadow, we're going back a collection, sorry. You could use the pink, you could use the light blue, because that would look really pretty with all the blocks on the front too. So those are the fabrics that I used for the backing and binding. But again, I feel like you could really use almost anything. I think it would also look really fun with a minky background. If you picked like a light aqua or a light pink minky and then bound it, that would be super soft and cozy and fun for cooler weather. So yay. Hey Pam. Allison, we are going to do a sew along from the book. Absolutely. I'm thinking that we'll do that after Daisy a Day. Because things are crazy for me right now and I need to prep for Garden of Quilts. I don't have time to do one right now, but I really am going to. So that's my plan, is after we finish Daisy a Day in October, we're going to do a short project from the book. But then I want to do another one in the early winter. And we might do one in conjunction with, like kind of run one at the same time as a sew along, because that's a smaller project and it would be an easy one to, because they're mini quilts, it would be an easy one to do alongside another quilt. So we might overlap a little bit there. So that will be fun. Okay. All right, you guys, that is it for me today. This is a short little half-hour video, you guys. I kind of feel like we should just keep hanging out. I don't know about you, but I'm just not ready to go. Oh, Rhonda said it's one of her favorite books. I love it, Rhonda. Thank you. Okay, don't forget to enter this week's giveaway for the Daisy Fields Fat Quarter Bundle and the new quilt that we're going to do next, the Daisy a Day quilt. Make sure that you tune in Wednesday night. I'll put a reminder up in the Facebook group. Wednesday night, I'll do a live video showing you guys all the fabrics and prints in Daisy Fields and all the colors of Dainty Daisy. And I'll have those shop lists for you so that I can reference them in the videos too. And I'll make sure and include shops that are kitting up anything that I have. All right, you guys, thanks so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for sewing along with this Wildflower Fields quilt. Make sure you post your quilts when you finish them up. We would love, love, love to see them. And I hope you have a lovely week and it's really nice weather and you just have a fun, like, ease into fall, finish up summer week. So thanks so much for tuning in, guys. I hope you have a great week. Bye.